Hey y'all. Let's see. All right. Hey, hey, hey. So my kids are at their grandparents for a couple weeks. I think a couple weeks. Hold on. Let me turn this other light on. And the evening time is usually the time that I'm like listening to stories about their day, sitting outside, unwinding, all those things. But now that it's summertime, I said I'm gonna keep my word to myself, be impeccable with my word to myself, and do more lives because there's a lot that I have to say. And so I just want to make sure that I'm sharing it. So, what's up? What's up? Thank you for joining. I'm going to be talking about the top 10 books that keep me together as a leader. I love to read. I've always loved to read. However, when you're like busy and all those things, reading can fall by the wayside. So I read by listening to audiobooks. Um, and my clients will tell you this when I'm recommending a book, and I recommend a lot of books. Um, I'm like, I'm going to listen to it at 1.5 speed because I just can't. Like, it's so, so slow. But it really depends on your style. However, um, a productivity hack or a tip is to listen to it at 1.5. That's one way you can get it going if you really want to get back into books. Another thing that I do, if I'm in my car, I usually listen to a book on the way there. If it's really long, I'll do a book and then some music and then a book again. But I'll keep my audiobook going in my car. And that really works for you if you have to drive into an office or commute. That way, it's not something extra on your list. You're just piggybacking it on a habit that you already have. That's also a good way to form a new habit by piggybacking. So I don't even think I introduced myself. I'm Dr. R.J. Verwain, licensed clinical psychologist. I help 6 and 7 figure earners eliminate stress, anxiety, and burnout so that they can live their best balanced lives. I've been a psychologist for almost 2 decades now. And so, looking at the trends and the ups and downs and all those things, I love that mental health wellness is in style right now. And I hope it will remain that way. All right. So let's get into this. I won't be before you long. I just wanted to share some of my favorite books. So, my top 10, these aren't in any particular order. Maybe, maybe not any particular order, but I'll share with you what the book is and then why I like it. All right. So, let's start with The Memo by John Hope Bryant. This was there are a few books that I'll say were life changing. This particular book really gave me insight into a lot of different things, just about how I view myself, the world, and others, limitations that are put or that we put on ourselves. It also helped me see things outside of the racial confines of stereotypes and racism and all the things that come along, and then look at the bigger picture. Um, I love his bold view and unapologetic view of how to get to success. So the memo by John Hope Bryant was definitely is definitely on my list. All right. Next is The Six Types of Working Genius by Patrick Lencioni. His name is spelled wrong. It's actually Lencioni. Lencioni. It's Italian, so it's Lencioni. The Six Types of Working Genius. I love his writing because he writes in parables. My BFF Jesus happens to speak in parables. So I love parables, stories that are in parables. But the Six Types of Work and Genius stands out to me, and I often refer my clients or have my clients read it who are CEOs or directors and that sort of thing, because for me, it helped me with more grace and patience with my team, and then also to understand myself more, like, okay, why don't I like this particular task? What is it about this thing that's making me exhausted at the end of the day? So the Six Types of Work and Genius really gave me permission to find out my own zone of genius and then the zone of genius of my team members and try to get them to operate in that capacity. All right, next on my list of books, if you're just joining, I'm sharing my top 10 favorite books right now that have kept me together as a leader. I love to read, I read all the time. So this list will build and change, but these are the top 10 that have been top of mind lately. So the next, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. That one is one that I'll listen to yearly. It reminds me just of the power of my mind, right? It reminds me of my thoughts and the ability to show up the way that I want to show up, and it reminds me of my power or power that we all have within us. And it's really just paying attention to your thoughts and making sure that you're consistently um, bringing things into your life that you desire. All right. So that's The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. I think this was super important for leaders because we can sometimes get overwhelmed and feel like we're losing our gift, and this brings it back. All right, number 7 out of 10 books that keep me together as a leader. Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. I do love this one. I love all of them, but I do love this one. It is challenging. It makes you think about things in a different way. If you are first generation everything, it kind of teaches you how to reframe or reset your mind to think about money in a different way. And that it's not just about money, it's about a whole lot of other things. But I really like The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And there are also steps you can take, tangible steps you can take on a daily basis in order to retrain your mind, create those new neural pathways that can change your view of yourself, the world, and others. All right. Ready, Fire, Aim by Michael Masterson. I read this one. I've read it a couple times, but I read this at the start of a shift in my career when I wanted to really narrow down who I worked with and not be like afraid of saying, this is who I want to work with and this is why. And so Ready, Fire, Aim is really good if you are a perfectionist, or if you're an improving perfectionist, or feel like you have to have everything perfect. It really helps put procrastination in its right place. Ready, Fire, Aim, I think lessens anxiety and allows you to do hard things and brave things. So Ready, Fire, Aim by Michael Masterson. If you're just joining, hey, I'm just sharing my top 10 books that keep me together as a leader. I'm Dr. RJ Rawain, licensed clinical psychologist, and I help 6 and 7 figure earners eliminate stress, anxiety, burnout so that they can live their best balanced lives. All right, next. A Woman's Worth by Marianne Williamson. So I read this back in undergrad and then again years later, and then again as a grown woman. And man, like this is a really good one. Like she fills you up and reminds you how much of a gift you are, and reminds you to walk in that and why it's important, and that our gifts are not just for us. Our gifts are really for everybody else. But it's important for us to recognize them and not hold it in because we're afraid or ashamed or whatever. So, A Woman's Worth by Marianne Williamson. If you need a little pick me up to remind you who you are, um, that's definitely a good one. Free to Focus by Michael Hyatt. I love this book. I use a lot of his frameworks in my teachings on preventing burnout when I'm working with companies and corporations. I like that it is easy to follow. It's practical. He puts things into perspective, and that it's not like a whole bunch of steps you have to take. It's just reminding you of simple things to do in order to focus, especially in this time of distraction. We're highly distracted. We're super overly informed. We're hyper plugged in and hyper connected to everything. And Free to Focus by Michael Hyatt really um, allows us to step away from that and eventually be more productive. All right, next, out of my 10 top 10 books that help keep me together as a leader, the ones that I love right now, We Should All Be Millionaires by Rachel Rogers. This was I recommend this one a lot. I it was so good that I got the Audible and then the hard copy because I wanted to be able to refer to it and keep my eyes on it and have it as a part of my daily view of myself, the world, and others. And it's a go-to. It's almost like at this point, it's almost like a reference book for me. So We Should All Be Millionaires by Rachel Rogers. Now she uses a lot of language there. So if you're sensitive to like language, just give you a little warning. I'm not bothered by language or words or curse words or whatever at all. But if you are, just be beware that she is showing up as her authentic self, and you're gonna get some of them words, baby. So, all right, We Should All Be Millionaires. Ooh, Sacred Rest by Dr. Sandra Dalton Smith. Oh, y'all, this woman is so brilliant. She is an African American woman physician who really breaks down the importance of rest and all the types of rest and why we need to do all of them. She even gives a quiz in there so you can see what type of rest you're lacking, what type of rest you need. I really love this book. It's another one that was so good that I'm like, oh, let me get that hard copy after I listened to the Audible. And it's also one that I consider to be a reference book as well. So, Sacred Rest by Dr. Sandra Dalton Smith. It's going to get you together because all of us can stand to rest a little more in different ways, especially if you were raised to think that resting means you're lazy or resting means that you're going to miss out on something like that. Yeah. So anyhow, this book will help you with that. All right, y'all ready for number one? Drum roll before I get up out of here. If you're just joining, though, my name is Dr. RJ Verwain. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. I was just reminding a group that I was speaking to this evening that I've been practicing for almost 2 decades. Like, that's a long time. And the time goes by so fast. And I've seen all the up and down trends of mental health. And I said that I was going to make more of a conscious effort to be out there and to be visible because I can't just sit back and be mad when all the misinformation is out there if I'm not using my voice as well. So I've made a word to myself that I'm going to be more visible, so you'll see more of me. Um, so anyhow, all right, the last book out of my top 10 books that keep me together as a leader. My recent one is Peaks and Valleys by Spencer Johnson, MD. This is the same author of Who Moved My Cheese. And so my business advisor, Marquel Russell, recommended this. We do quarterly business trainings and conferences to make sure that we're showing up as the best versions of ourselves and that our clients and customers are getting top notch service. And also that we're running business in a way that it's sustainable and that it's creating goodwill in a marketplace. So we were having our sessions this past weekend, and he casually mentioned Peaks and Valleys by Spencer Johnson. And so I get a lot of my book recommendations from Marquel. We nerd out together. And this one, though, like when I tell you it's a game changer, I listened to it this past weekend. 2 hours I was done at 1.5 speed because I don't like when the books be going all slow. And so Peaks and Valleys, oh my goodness, I'm definitely going to probably, I don't say probably, I'm going to put it on my calendar to listen to once a month. That's how impactful it was for me. And it left such an impression that I'm like, I gotta share this. Like other people need to read this. And so the premise of the book is that It's what it says. It's peaks and valleys, and how to respond to your peaks and how to respond to your valleys, and the natural course of both. And it also talks about things that things that you do to keep you in your valley too long, and things that can do to come out of your valley, but also being able to have gratitude and still be um, have inner success and joy and all those things while you're at a peak or while you're in a valley. It is a game changer, especially for leaders, especially for highly successful people, people who are used to winning all the time. um, Y'all, when we're used to winning all the time, those valleys can hit hard. I'm just, like, preaching to myself. And so it's just a good reminder of the natural course of things. So that is it. Those are my top 10 books that have been keeping me together as a leader. And so I do want to give something away. I like to give away free stuff. Let me move this peaks and valleys out the way. All right. So, even though Mental Health Month is over, okay, here we go. Even though Mental Health Month is over, during the month of May, I created a mental health guide for busy professionals, just to give you something to put your hands on, in order to keep an eye on your mental health, to keep it at the forefront of your mind. And so if you text Be Well, all one word, Be Well, to 833-451-4258, you get your free mental health guide for busy professionals. And that's it. Gifts is my love language. So I wanted to make sure that I'm giving you all something as well. So that's all. Thank you for hanging out with me. Quick and easy, to the point. Um, I've shared my top 10 books that keep me together as a leader. And I hope that it was impactful for some of you, and that you'll choose a book from the list and share it as well, and talk about how it impacts you, because sharing is caring. All right, y'all. Bye. Uh-oh. How do you get out of here? Okay. Bye for real.